Hey, let's start the meeting for Public Services Committee meeting Tuesday, July 20. Give us a roll call, please.
Yes, Chairman. Alderman
Here.
Alderman Ludwig.
Here.
Alderman T.
Here.
Alderman Williams.
Here.
Alderman York.
Here.
Chairman Streeting.
Here.
6 present.
All right, thank you very much. Next is the approval of the minutes from 6/22 of 21. I guess I'll need a motion in a second.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any questions? Any changes? If not, roll call, please.
Alderman Williams.
Yes.
York.
Yes.
Pickering.
Yes.
Ludwig.
Yes.
T.
Yes.
Streeting.
Yes.
6 yes.
All right, we'll move down to item number 3, approval of the agenda for this evening. I don't believe there's any changes or anything at this time, so I guess I'll take a motion and a second to approve.
So move.
Second.
Okay, any questions on the agenda? Not, roll call, please.
Alderman York.
Yes.
Pickering.
Yes.
Ludwig.
Yes.
T.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Streeting.
Yes.
6 yes.
All right, moves us to item number 4, audience comments. Do we have anything this evening?
No, we do not, Chairman.
All right, thank you. Goes to 5, the chairman's comments. I don't have any this evening. We'll go item number 6. Approval of payrolls for 7/23 of 21. We'll need a motion in a second, please.
So moved. Second.
Any questions? Roll call, please.
Alderman Pickering.
Yes.
Ludwig.
Yes.
Teague.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
York.
Yes.
Streeting.
Yes.
6 yes.
All right, moving on right along. Number 7, approval of the vouchers payable for 7/27/21. I'll need a motion in a second, please.
So moved.
Some second.
Any questions? Roll call, please.
Alderman Ludwig.
Yes.
Teague.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
York.
Yes.
Pickering.
Yes.
Streeting.
Yes.
6 yes.
All right. Item number 8 is city clerk's report. Ms. Munson, items of information?
Yeah, I have a couple. Thank you,
Okay.
Chairman. I wanted to let everyone know we should receive the updated code to the Code of Ordinances any day now. So this will update all of the ordinances to the code on the website. And that will be as of May 18th, 2021, everything that's been approved up to that date. I also just wanted to report we've been busy with special event permits and working through the new city website, which will be going live soon. That's all I have.
Any questions for Ms. Munson? All right, I guess we'll move right to finance with Ashlyn Macy, who is our comptroller. Item 9A is an ordinance amending the city code section 3013, uncollectible accounts receivable, write-off authority. I'll make the motion, move and approve and dispense with the reading and ask for your approval. I'll need a second, please.
Second.
Is there any questions?
I have a question.
Go ahead.
I just wanted to know why that D was removed.
Section D. My reasoning behind having section D removed is that I don't know that it's wise business practice to put on display the reasons for which we write off accounts. Currently, the ordinance requires that I give name, reason, and amount. So those records will absolutely be maintained. I just don't know that putting it on a public packet.
Okay, understood. Thank you.
Any other questions? Of course, I'm right saying this, that they can still get it if they want it through Freedom of Information or whatever they need.
Absolutely. And of course, all aldermen and upon request, I can pull that at any time. If you're looking, what write-offs have been done in the last quarter, in the last year. The reason that kind of spurred this review is that we're, as you know, billing and collections in-house. So we're working on updating some policies and procedures and creating a lot of policies and procedures. And part of bringing the new software in is we would like to have a fresh start, right? Because these don't just create the invoices and collect the invoice, they're also account management per address. And it's been a while since some write-offs have been sent to council. So we need to do some cleanup to get where we can go really hard for some recent uncollectible items instead of floundering around trying to collect a couple dollars from, in some cases, 20 years ago. So.
Ms. Teague?
Okay, this is in response to the answer. So it's because the text that's struck through doesn't say name, reason, and amount. It just says report on a quarterly basis. Mm-hmm. So it would still be reported, or there seems to be some discrepancy.
So that's just the previous format that's always been used when it was provided to council. So okay. If I'm consistent with that, it would be name, reason, and amount. However, those records would be maintained in finance the exact same way. We would have packets, they would be dated, they'd have a cover sheet giving a grand total. The basis of Section D is, do they get on the public agenda? Are they brought to city council and approved by city council? That's the part that's being struck out, or suggested being struck out.
Is there any other questions?
Chairman, if I may.
Go ahead.
I also think part of the reason why we're doing this right is if you know that your neighbor got a fine for having a bad house forever, for not cutting their grass for forever, and then you see all of a sudden that years have gone by and they still haven't paid it, what's your inclination or your rationale to pay it later on, right? If I see that it's not being paid and that it's hard to enforce, it helps disincentivize folks, rationale or their reason for taking care of what they owe the city and taking care of some of the code problems that they have as well.
Thank you, Mayor. Ms. Ludwig, you had a question?
No, I understand now. Thank you. My questions have been answered. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? If not, roll call, please.
Alderman Teague?
Yes.
Williams?
Yes.
York?
Yes.
Pickering?
Yes.
Ludwig?
Yes.
Streebing?
Yes.
6 yes.
That puts us to 9B, ordinance amending the city code section 39.07 pertaining to compensation of municipal employees. I'll make the motion, move to approve, and dispense with the reading and ask for your approval. I'll need a second, please.
Second.
Any questions on this one? Ms. Teague?
So this is being done specifically to change information under Section 2B, correct?
Yes, that is correct. And on the wage chart, those positions that are being modified are the ones highlighted in green. Ordinance directs that anytime a wage is changed, I have to bring this to council and get it reapproved. So.
Okay.
Any other questions? If not, roll call, please.
Alderman Williams?
Yes.
York?
Yes.
Pickering?
Yes.
Ludwig?
Yes.
Teague?
Yes.
Streebing?
Yes.
6 yes.
Thank you. 9C is an ordinance pertaining to the ARPA Coronavirus Local Fiscal Recovery Fund. I will make the motion to move and approve and dispense with the reading and ask for your approval. I'll need a second, please.
Second.
Any questions?
Could we just kind of have a explanation of this?
Sure. So this one's actually very exciting. This is asking city council to give us authority to sign and return the terms and conditions for the American Rescue Plan Act distribution. So, once these terms and conditions are signed and returned, we should receive our first distribution within 30 days in our bank account. So,
Thank you.
Any other questions? Roll call, please.
Alderman York,
Yes.
Pickering,
Yes.
Ludwig,
Yes.
Teague,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Streaming,
Yes,
6 yes.
thank you. 90 is a resolution authorizing a budget amendment to fiscal year 2021 through 2022 finance 011 budget. I will make the motion, move to approve and dispense with the reading and ask for your approval, and I'll need a second, please.
Second.
Any questions? If none, roll call, please.
Alderman Pickering,
Yes.
Ludwig,
Yes.
Teague,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
York,
Yes.
Streaming,
Yes,
6 yes.
thank you. 90 is a resolution authorizing agreement for provision of electricity for city-owned buildings and facilities. I will make the motion to move and to approve and dispense with the reading and ask for your approval. I'll need a second, please.
Second.
Any questions on this? If none, roll call, please.
Alderman Ludwig,
Yes.
Teague,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
York,
Yes.
Pickering,
Yes.
Streaming,
Yes,
6 yes.
thank you. 9F is a resolution authorizing agreement for gas supply with Good Energy LP. I will make the motion, move to approve and dispense with the reading and ask for your approval. I will need a second.
Second.
Any questions on this one? If not, roll call, please.
Alderman Teague,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
York,
Yes.
Pickering,
Yes.
Ludwig,
Yes.
Streaming,
Yes,
6 yes.
thank you very much. Puts us to item G, items of information. We'll start with the risk management monthly report, and then we'll go to personnel monthly report and additional items of information. We'll just do 1, 2, 3. There you go, dear.
all right, I'll go ahead and hand it off to Ms. Corson, our risk manager.
Okay,
Oh, she's on mute.
can't hear you.
There we go.
There.
Sorry about that. Good evening, everybody. You have your report in your packets. The insurance numbers are pretty well remaining the same. Not a lot of changes or adjustments made for that. There were 5 work comp claims for the month of June. We did have 3 that did require treatment, and with those 3, there were 2 that they were able to work restricted duty. We were able to accommodate their restrictions, but 1 was off for a few days. 3 actually. We also did in the month of June have 3 liability claims, 2 that were the city's liability. It actually, 2 of those were the same incident, but because there was not only the city's involvement and damage to our property, but damage to another entity as well. So that's why they're put on there separate on the report, even though they were the same accident. We did have 1 where it was another party that was responsible for damage to city property. They have already made payment on those damages as well. We did want to let everybody know that this is our 5th year that we have been with IPMG for our work comp and liability insurance. So with it being year 5, we are looking to go out and do a bid process this year for work comp and liability. We are looking to, I almost have the RFP completed. We're looking to have it posted at the very beginning of August so that by the beginning of September, we can look at opening the bids, going through them, because it is kind of a lengthy process. You're not exactly comparing apples to apples with every particular policy. So you do have to see what is offered by each entity, what those costs are, deductibles, things of that nature. So we will be looking at doing that in September so that hopefully in October, we'll be able to bring that to council with the entity or the liability company that we choose.
Is there any questions for Ms. Corson on anything that we've discussed? If not, well, thank you, dear, for all your information. What's just item number 10? The fire department with Don McMasters, the fire chief. Items A is items of information and the monthly incident reports. Go
Chairman,
ahead, chief.
Chairman?
Yeah.
Chairman, I apologize. We actually needed to do the personnel report from Ms. Corson as well.
I'm sorry.
From Ms. White.
I'm sorry. Let's go back then to item G2, personnel monthly report. I'm sorry.
That's quite all right. Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Mayor. You should have your personnel report in your packet for July 27th. We did have a few changes during the month. We hired a new assistant corporation counsel, Amanda May, who started yesterday. Welcome, Amanda. And then we also had a few separations. 2 bus drivers from DMT, and then our public works golf course, our golf and sports facility manager resigned. So we had a net change of 2 from 240 to 238. So that's the total number of employees eligible for benefits. We currently have 35 part-time seasonal temporary people for a total of 273 employees. We do still have some open positions there if you notice those. And then a couple of items to note, we did make some offers out for the community relations administrator and the executive assistant to the mayor, tentative start dates in August. And hopefully we will have them starting soon. So that's your report for the personnel report for July, and I'm happy to take any questions.
Does anybody have any questions for Jamie?
Chairman, I would just add that our golf manager will be starting in the next couple of days here as well. So
That's good.
Mr. Jim DePratt.
That's good. Thank you, Jamie. I'm
Thank you.
sorry. I didn't mean to rush through, but
That's perfectly fine.
all right.
Skip over me anytime.
All right. No. Have any more items of information?
I don't have very many. You saw all the items I have today, so finance has been working on those. We're continuing to work for billing and collections. Coming in-house, I am finalizing some job descriptions that I will be bringing to the city council in August for your review and approval. We're planning minor renovations to the finance department. Our department will be growing and foot traffic will be increasing, so we're going to be making some updates to the counter so we can get people in and out as quickly as possible and making room for the additional personnel needed. Budget meetings have started. As your schedule indicated that I distributed. But other than that, I don't have any updates. If you have any questions, of course, please feel free to reach out at any time. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. That puts us to item number 10. I believe I can go there now to the fire chief, Don McMasters. Do you have anything for us this evening?
Few things, nothing major. I guess you'd call it nothing major, $200,000.
Oh, that's nice.
You have your report in front of you. You should have your report in front of you. We had month of June, we had 5 working structure fires, building fires, for a grand total of about $77,000 worth of loss in properties. About par for the course, normal month. Nothing huge or exhausting as far as we were concerned working fires in the month of June, with a total of 19 fires of a structure, non-structure vehicle related, for a total of about $88,000 worth of damage total. Again, as is par for the course, as is normal, our total account for the month is 278 incidents, most of which are medical calls. This month has been a little busier, specifically this last week and a half or so. We have had three. Of course, one of them was very minor, but we have had three. Two of them are large-scale hazardous materials spill incidents in the last 2 weeks. Due to the fact under what is called a spiller pays statute, we can bill and obtain money back for those incidents for the use of our personnel and equipment on hazardous materials releases. For instance, if a tanker truck gets hit on the road and dumps everything out of their truck, whatever, we can bill for our services and all the equipment we utilize for that. Two of the incidents were large-scale incidents to the effect of the first one, we billed for approximately $5,400, which we expect to receive that back from the company or the company's insurance, most likely. That one occurred out at Viscofan, which those of you who have been around for a while know as TPAC. Viscofan occurred on the 9th of July. We had it. That was kind of the start of the last couple of weeks of busy. We also had another one the other day at the prison. We spent the afternoon at the prison for a white powder incident where some white powder in an envelope was mailed to the prison, and the mail clerk inadvertently opened it up and was exposed to it. Then it inadvertently exposed another individual to it. We got called out to handle all that, to disperse it. The FBI was actually involved in that as well, since it was at the prison. The FBI basically told us what to do and stood back and waited for us to do the work. And then I expected us to just hand them the product in a bag so they could take it and confiscate it and test it themselves. We're still waiting on results to come back as to what it was specifically. We do know that it was not biological, so that rules out anthrax and some of those things, but we still don't know what it was. Then we were called a couple of days later by the prison that they received another letter from the same sender to the same inmate prisoner, but they obviously it caught their attention and they did not open the second one. They packaged it up and contacted the FBI, and the FBI went straight out there and picked it up for them. So we did not have to respond to the second incident. We're still working on the billing process. We actually called in a decontamination team from the Champaign Fire Department that came over for that incident at the prison with us and to assist us in getting that taken care of. So we're waiting on their bill to show up and then create our bill to send it to the state for our response on that as well. However, those of you who are familiar enough with the state to know, quite frankly, I don't suspect we'll get paid by the state. I suspect that they probably will not pay their bill and we will not get money back on that call. That's kind of the culmination of the last couple of weeks for busy for us. Otherwise, I say this very carefully, but it's been fairly quiet around here the last couple of weeks in the city of Danville. I just as an item of information to present to you tonight, because I do not have official paperwork to go with it. You are all aware, because I've brought it up on several occasions in meetings in the past over the effect of the last 6 or 8 months. The fire department is in desperate need to replace our completely outdated and obsolete radio system in the city that includes the repeaters on the towers throughout the city, as well as the equipment in the trucks and our personal radios. That's something in the works for quite some time. We've been looking at avenues to either get assistance from the county emergency planning commission, emergency board down there, to see if they would give us assistance on that, which was a no. We've also looked into some grants and other things on that, which are all no's. And so we have started the process to get that taken care of for the city to just take care of it ourselves. We actually opened bids. It's been out for sealed bid for about 2 weeks now. We opened bids on Thursday morning. In 2 days, the 29th, we will open bids. And based on what we receive for bids, then I will put together a resolution, and that will come to the full council on Tuesday night next week for your consideration to replace the complete radio system for the city, for the fire department. This will get us off of an island by ourselves to we will be on the same type of frequency as the police department, the local ambulance services, as well as all the county fire departments. So we're not out on an island by ourselves anymore. And it is obviously much more up to date and more electronically advanced system than what we have now. What we have now has just one repeater site in the city that everything has to go through. And so if you're at extreme distance from that area, signal gets lost and so forth. And if that repeater would happen to go down, we're SOL. The new system, all of our sites, which there's 5 of them, each one of those will have a repeater system on it. So one will always take over for any of the others if anything goes down. Plus the new system will have automatic notifications that anytime anything goes down, the company that does the service on them will get like immediately text or email notification that something's wrong, and they'll know to go take care of it, fix it right away. Also, what we've asked for in the package as far as the bidding's concerned is that all of the equipment, everything else will have I don't know what it's called specifically, but basically like a non-obsolete clause to where all the equipment that they're going to provide as part of the package deal will have at least a 10-year non-obsolete warranty, or I guess if you call it, as well as the other thing that we've asked for in this process is a 5-year completely included in package, included in price, 5-year maintenance plan on the entire system. We expectations based on previous bids and stuff we've looked into prior to putting it out for seal bid is somewhere between about $310,000 to $325,000 it's going to cost, and that is complete everything. That's labor, materials to completely redo all 5 repeater sites, as well as replace all the radios in all of our fire engines and support vehicles, as well as all new handhelds for 50 personnel. So that will be a complete package deal out the door. So if the chairman is okay with this, since it's an item of information tonight, nothing official to vote on, but I'll be bringing it as a resolution to the full city council next Tuesday night.
Chairman, would that be acceptable?
Yeah, yes, as long as we let the public works know that this is coming as well.
Yes.
I'd be fine with that.
And obviously we will open the bids Thursday morning, and I'll have the resolution and everything put together. It'll be in your packets. It'll be given to Lisa Monson to be put in your packets prior to next Tuesday night's meeting, so everybody will have it.
Okay. Thank you. Well,
that's all I have.
Anybody have any questions for the chief? I've got a question for you though, Chief. I've been seeing a lot of stuff on TV about these electric cars. Are we ready to take care of that?
We have actually just here in the last and obviously they've been around for a while, but just that's become a hot topic here as of recent. It was in the last probably 2 weeks, we were looking into, from a fire investigation standpoint, some training videos and things for us to be looking at for investigators for how to investigate electric vehicle fires. Well, then when my lead investigator and training officer started watching these videos, he started getting a whole lot deeper into what they entail actually fighting these fires. So we've kind of stepped up here in just the last couple of weeks as far as training's concerned for that. There's not a lot of anything major you have to do as far as fighting these fires. The biggest thing with these fires is even when they look like they're out, they're not necessarily out. And they're talking to the effect of, for a vehicle's batteries and an electric vehicle, the average car fire, we use 200-300 gallons worth of water and we're done. They're saying if the batteries themselves are burning in these electrical vehicles, you could be thousands of gallons of water to get them cooled to the level where they won't reignite. And they're saying even as much as once you've got them out and you use thermal imaging cameras to monitor, just the same as we do for a house fire, but you're talking about a lot of length for a car, to make sure that the levels are down, the temperature levels are down enough to make it acceptable and safe for the car to be relocated. And then they're even saying, like, for instance, your Carnegie's or Kaufman's picks up that vehicle and takes it to their impound. And they're saying to even for days after that, leave it out in an open area away from buildings or other vehicles, at least 20, 30 feet for days, because it could reignite. That's the biggest issue with the electrical vehicles, and we're actually training on that right now.
Okay, well, thank you. Is there any other questions for the chief this evening? Robert? Alderman Williams.
Right. I had one question. Years ago, the Veterans Administration used to have a fire department of their own, and now they no longer have that. How does the city handle that as far as calls responding out there? Are we reimbursed for that or what?
We are under a contract with the Veterans Administration. We are under annual contract, and we negotiate it every year. Basically, and by negotiation, I mean every year they add 5% to the contract or something, and we agree to it. So they pay us every year, and then it's just a flat fee for the year, and then we respond to whatever, any and all calls that come through there. The only thing that is different about that, they have the new veterans housing buildings out there that have recently been built.
Right.
They are not a part of the VA, and so we have a separate contract with them to where anytime we go to one of those facilities, like for a medical call or an alarm going off, we send them a bill for that particular call. And it's not very often we go out there, but we just bill them per call when we go to those buildings. All the regular buildings within the VA complex are covered as part of an annual contract. And if we go there once a year or 500 times a year, it's the same.
Okay, thank you.
And part of the contract is part of the contract stipulations from our end is we have to send so many units, they have to be there within so much time, so forth.
Okay, thank you.
Is there any other questions for the chief? Thank you, chief, for everything. That puts us to item number 11, human relations. Ms. Sandra Finch, the administrator. She's given your monthly status report, and does she have any items of information for us this evening?
Chairman, Administrator Finch is actually on vacation this week, so I'm covering for her. I'd be happy to answer any questions that I'm able to.
Anybody have any questions with her report that she sent us? All right, thank you. Item number 12, information technology. Agnell?
Chairman?
Yes.
You all should have received the report in your inboxes that I sent on Monday. You're muted. Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah. Can you all hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, thank you. So, a couple of things I would like to mention. One of is the city's website. We're finally excited to go. Next week we're going live with our new website, and I would like to thank Mayor Adam Hall, who's the project manager for the website. Rest of the team: Lisa Monson, Megan Mudd, Aaron Weaver, and the rest of the content editors who worked really hard to get this website going in the last few months. So on August 3rd is when we're going to go live. So in the next city council meeting, which next Tuesday night, I'll have Adam come in and give a little bit of a presentation, a short presentation on the website. How to navigate the website. We continue to work on a couple other projects, utility billing, fire department records system. The work is ongoing there. Also, you see some of the GIS projects that Adam is working on And a little bit of good news. I've been looking for grant funding for cybersecurity. I've been working with the federal and state agencies trying to find some grant funds, but there's nothing out there really for cybersecurity. But I did manage to find some help. In other words, services that we could use that's going to save city about $60,000. So the cybersecurity infrastructure and security agency has offered us, it's called a security testing program, which actually costs $50,000 if we have to hire a third party. So they're going to do it for free for City of Danville. And also I contacted the state of Illinois. Illinois, they had a grant for cybersecurity and they offered us a product that would save us $12,000 a year to protect our systems. Other than that, we continue to do our provide support to our system, different departments. And I would like to especially thank my team, Aaron, Sohail, our intern Travis, Adam, and all of them. They were really working on it and I keep challenging them. And then, they come back with the good results. So, and also I would like to appreciate all your support. I'll be happy to answer any questions at this time.
Does anybody have any questions for Agnell? Well, Agnell, I will say thank you to you and all your team for everything that you do for us to keep us running, especially with what the problems we've had, what's happened today. So thank you for everything you do.
Thanks for your kind words.
All right, no questions, and we'll move right to legal for Mr. James Simon, our corporate counsel. Items of information?
Just really one big one, and that is Amanda Mank has started as our assistant corporation counsel. Her primary areas of responsibility will be real estate, ordinance violation, court, and collections. I want to thank Agnell and his team for setting up her equipment, so thoroughly, completely, and timely. So thank you to Agnell. Thank you to the mayor for helping me interview Ms. Mank and joining with my decision to hire her. I think she's going to be a very valuable team member, and I'm excited to have her on board.
Well, thank you. Any questions for our corporate counsel? All right, thank you, sir. Item number 14, Police Chief Yates. We have any items of information from the chief this evening? Doesn't look like it.
Chief, we can't.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
I was having problems.
So
I had,
he wasn't gonna let us go that easy.
Yeah, I was pushing the wrong button. Something wrong with this button actuator nut. I did send something sort of late with Barb or Lisa Monson. Sent you a couple attachments and reference to some different quality of life and violent crime reports. And what we did was we broke it down January 1st to July 27th of 2020, and then also of 2021. We have so many, the number of calls for service, if I throw 4,000 or 5,000 calls at you, it's not really showing anything, especially when there's nothing to compare it to. So what I like to do, and I can't wait till we have a couple of years to where we can actually compare full years, but I like showing you different, periods of time of this different years, same months. And what we put together was 13 of, your violent and other serious quality of life crimes that we do. And we showed the actual raw numbers of the reports taken. Promisingly, we see a decrease in all but 3 of those. And that the 3 that we increased on were aggravated assault. Could be anything from someone threatening somebody with a stick to a gun. We also saw an increase in sexual assaults. we could speculate to what caused that, but I'll just tell you that those numbers have gone up. And also thefts, just simple thefts. We saw about a 13% increase in that. Got the bad news out of the way first, but out of those 13, we saw decreases in 10 of the other categories. And those decreases range anywhere from 6% on aggravated battery all the way to 66% with robberies. So we're seeing an average between, 20 and 30% decrease in many of them. And then some of the more violent ones, we're seeing like reckless discharge of a firearm, about a 45, these aren't exacts, I'm doing this in my head, but about 45% decrease in reckless discharge of a firearm. That's these shooting, shots fired type calls. Aggravated battery with firearm, we saw about a 20% decrease from the same time period this year to last year. That's where you actually have someone that is injured or shot. Unlawful use of a weapon, saw about a 20% decrease. And the homicide line there, that's not super accurate, just to the fact that many of our homicide calls start out as an aggravated battery with a firearm, okay, and then the person succumbs to their wounds later. So I don't want that to throw anybody off. So I'm not, we've seen promising numbers, and we have seen decreases, but nothing that I'm super excited about, just because whenever you have people shot, like I said, the difference between homicide and an injury can be a matter of, centimeters. So we still have a lot of area where we can improve, and we're doing that with all the guys on patrol, our special units, and then the follow-ups with the Criminal Investigations Division. Like many of you heard, that the homicide suspect, that the trial that was going on, they found him guilty in all counts yesterday. We were very pleased with the investigation, the cooperation of all the different agencies that were involved. Two things that I'm still scratching my head on, and one we're working on for sure with traffic crashes. We have some positive ideas on how we can decrease that. We just see a large number of traffic crashes. And we've actually seen some increases, not major, but increases. I want to see all those numbers go down, or at least stay the same. Domestic batteries. I mean, we've been working on that, and getting with different groups on education, where I think that's a big part of that. I'm never happy with the domestic battery numbers, but everything else is very promising. We're going to continue to build on that. We have one officer that's in the field training program right now. He's doing pretty well. I haven't heard anything negative, so that's a good thing. We have 3 officers at PTI. They'll be graduating August 12th, barring any emergencies or shutdowns at the academy. We are 1 officer short. We're 1 officer short because the academies are full. And the timing when we lost the officer to opening day at the academy, they weren't in sync. So we're having to wait a bit for that, but we are gathering quite a few more police applications. Our numbers were low for a bit, and then we're now at more of a reasonable number. That's promising. We're going to keep those the application process open until we get closer to the academy date. It doesn't make sense to close. I'd like to get as many people as possible. We also are in the process of the sergeant and commander promotion list. We don't have anybody on the commander list, so if we were having to replace one, we would have quite the void. So they're studying for the test now. They should be taking it here shortly. both the sergeants and the commanders. We made some changes in our staff support, our civilian employees and staff services and tech services. Those changes are working out wonderful. We've come up with new policies and procedures and evidence processing, storage, and maintenance. We've also made a lot of changes in our training records and notifications. With a lot of the changes with the Senate or the House bill and the Safety Act, we've got to make sure that we're always in compliance, which we've been doing pretty well. But the system that has been set up is making it much easier for the command staff to make sure all their guys have the training. And it's an extensive list of training that we have to have. Some of it once a year, some of it twice a year, some of it once every 2 years. But there's about 14 to 15 different categories that we have to train. Special units are continuing to do well. I was monitoring an issue where they seized 2 more guns tonight. And what was nice was that the POP unit and community housing unit, they all worked together in collaboration on this one event tonight, and no one got hurt, and 2 weapons were seized. Morale continues to be on the positive side and positive note. And after summer, you get a lot of fatigue, a lot of hours are worked. We use a lot of our resources as far as the JAG grant and other monies that we have set aside for different details and events during the summer. Guys are filling them, and but we always got to watch fatigue. We had a good meeting, myself and Jim Simon, the mayor, one of my commanders, as well as code inspectors, and we were discussing different ways that we could, a lot of the problems and challenges that we hear about, whether it's garbage toters or legally parked vehicles and stuff like that. We identified that there is definitely a need that we can both work together, both departments, legal, code enforcement, as well as law enforcement and our guys on the street, where they can sort of complement each other. And hopefully that'll be some of those problems that we talked about in the council meetings, and it comes up. Hopefully at some point those will be decreased, or hopefully in part of the past. Still going on with our Operation 2025 initiatives. We've completed most of the smaller ones. There's a couple structural parts of it that we're working on, and we just want to fine tune it. And it'll be real nice when I can, I don't think we'll ever get to this point, but I'm thinking at some point before my career is over, we can sit back and just watch it operate and be proud of what we've done. So we're moving there, but we got a lot more work to do. And that's all I've got. Anybody have any questions? I'd be happy to answer it.
Ms. Pickering, you have something.
First of all, what's the difference between robbery and theft?
Robbery is either it's from a person with the threat of force. Like if you had $1 hanging out of your pocket and I walked by, and as I walked by it fell out and onto the ground, and I pick it up and take off with it. Or if I steal your bicycle that's out, steal any type of real property. Robbery is with force or with the threat of the use of force.
Okay, thank you.
So when people say our house got robbed and no one was home, their house wasn't robbed, their house was burglarized.
Oh, okay.
So it's tit for tat, but it does mean a lot when you're looking at the numbers here.
Right, correct. Okay. The other thing is we discussed this before, the 4-wheelers and the ATVs. I had a constituent that called me, and he said that that the police had, when he called in about offenses that he had seen, they had been there, but he noticed that there's been second offenders. They're doing it again. What can we do? Can we confiscate those ATVs or go-karts, whatever they are? And if are the parents responsible for these children?
The second part, I'd like to think that somebody's responsible for them, but that's part of our problem, is that there's not a lot of parental guidance in some of the kids that are goofing off. Some of it is typical kids doing foolish things and not thinking about the severity or the potential hazards that they create.
Right.
Other times it's just people that, just don't care. Now we can take the vehicles, tow them, do a public nuisance tow, make them pay to bond them out. We can do that. And I believe that we have done that in some cases. Other times we have to take into consideration, well, there he goes. We have to take into consideration, are we going to pursue a 12 or 13-year-old on a motorcycle, and push it? There's different ways. So a lot of people may say, well, the police officer saw him and he didn't take off after him. Well, we have to take a look at the risk also. Is there another way that we know where they're going? Maybe we can go there to where we don't put the juvenile, if it's a juvenile. It's very complex on the different things in the officer's discretion. And because our number one concern is public safety, even the safety of the people that are not always doing the right thing. So yeah, it's a problem. It's also, what are our tools as far as, we can write them citations and stuff. But if it's a 12-year-old or a 13-year-old, they don't have a license anyway. And so we write ordinances, stuff like that. But hopefully we can get to them, talk to them, try to find an alternate place where they can ride them, or if we have to, we'll take them and seize them and put a public nuisance tow on it. And after a while, it's $300 plus tow fees and all that. So it seems like a minor issue to deal with, but there's a lot of things that have to be considered.
All right. Okay. Well, I told them I would ask, so.
Okay.
Thank you.
Is there any other questions for the chief? Any other question? Ms. Ludwig?
Yes, I just have a question about the retail theft, and I was wondering if it's possible that the 2021 retail theft is just less reported or underreported. I just noticed when I go into businesses, people stealing things and then nobody's saying anything about it. So I just wonder if you've.
Well, actually, we have retail theft on that page I gave you. That's just basic theft. That doesn't include retail theft. Our retail theft numbers, we're seeing a decrease, and I do believe that retail theft is, out of all the thefts, the most underreported, because lots of times the person takes off, they don't even know if they have anything. They just think, they believe that they do, and so they'll weigh it, and sometimes that may be underreported. And then other places, someone steals something, they'll actually follow the person until we get there. It's one of those things that I think it has all the elements that could be underreported, but our retail thefts are they're slightly down, but not enough to say what the cause is. We got to also remember that if our retail thefts are down from 2020, we know there has to be some type of decrease in the actual retail thefts, because a large part of 2020, a lot of the places were closed. A lot of the places that report retail thefts were closed. So, I would say that factor, and there's no scientific, method behind it, but just thinking about, the shutdown, I would believe that even a reasonable decrease is more than just an anomaly if we decrease from 20 to 21, considering a large part of 20 had a lot of a lot of stores were shut down. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, is there any other questions for the chief? If not, thank you, Chris, for everything this evening. Thank you.
Thank you.
That moves us number 15, a closed session. I do not believe that we're having a closed session this evening. So puts us at item 16, items of information. Mayor, do you have anything for us?
Ooh, it's awfully hot in here, Chairman. In my office alone, it was 83 degrees. So we just paid off our HVAC system. It's only a couple of years old. And I can't tell you, they've been here a dozen or more times in the short time that I've been there. It's not in warranty anymore. They do have someone coming from the headquarters of Train in Indianapolis to look at it tomorrow because they cannot seem to figure out what is causing this repeated issue. Tomorrow, we're supposed to have a heat index of around 105 and the following day, 110. If they don't get the HVAC up and running, we will continue to work from home. Admiral and his team worked really hard to reissue computers. Also, computers have been set up so that they can take phone calls over the computer so that we will be able to continue all but face-to-face operations at this time.
Well, thank you, Mayor.
Yes, sir.
Does anybody else have any items of information? If not, that puts us to item number 17. Need for an adjournment. I'll need a motion and a second.
I'll
Motion to
make the
adjourn.
motion.
Got a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Alderman Williams,
Yes.
York,
Yes.
Pickering, Ludwig,
Yes.
T,
Yes.
Streeting,
Yes.
6 yes.
Oh, okay. 6 yes. We are adjourned. Thank you, everybody from the Public Services Committee. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Did a good
Have
job.
a great evening.
Good
Stay cool
job.
the next couple of days.
Yes.
Thank you, guys.
Cool.
Be safe out there, all right?
Yep.